Hello guys, good morning. Good morning, sunshines. So it is early for me, but as you guys know, I'm kind of being forced to stay home because I have the COVID and I have to basically stay home for 7 days. I did have a little bit of a fever the first 2 days, one day, but I'm fine. So I basically can't go to work until like Thursday. So anyway, how are you guys doing today? I know it's not typical for me to come in this early, but I see there's actually already 3 of you in here. That's crazy. That's crazy because again, I'm never here that early. So if you are in here already, give it a like. 15 of you already? Are you guys off of work? That's amazing. Oh my God. 15 in here and 4 likes. Give it a like. Give it a like. And we are going to be talking, guys, about Brian Kohberger. Did he finally confess? And there have been several documents that I have not covered that dropped on the 7th of this month. So actually there's over, I believe there's a total of 20 documents. I don't know if you guys want me to go all, in depth about each document. They're relatively short, so maybe we can do that, but I definitely want to go into the Amazon records. Now, look, let me tell you a little something here. The title, some of you are gonna be like, oh my God, that's like clickbaity, right? It's kind of clickbaity, but the reason I'm wanting to talk about this subject is because I've seen actual lawyers with actual YouTube channels talking about this, and they're using very similar titles. Look, I'm not gonna come up here and name them. I'm not going to give them a bigger audience, right? We're not gonna do that. But the fact that these defense attorneys are, using these titles, talking about Kohberger confessed. Look, I've had a lot of people lately also contact me on Instagram. They want to know, what do I think about what Kohberger said when he was arrested. Guys, I thought we had talked about this already. This is why I feel like I'm repeating myself in a lot of the videos. I'm okay with repeating myself. I don't mind it. Not everybody is as involved as some of us are in this IDAHO4 case, right? That being said, the fact that people over 2 years later are still saying that Kohberger said, was anybody else arrested? Or that he looked forward to his exoneration. It's like, that's off the record if that was said, because nowhere in any legal document is that stated. So where are people getting that information? This is why Ann Taylor and her team are trying to suppress everything, right? Because when people spread rumors like this and they take it as truth, it can be taken out of context. Maybe he didn't even say it. And then people are saying, well, why would he ask if anyone else was arrested? I've had so many people who believe that Kohberger is guilty because he supposedly asked, was anyone else arrested? We don't even know if he asked that. We don't even know if he asked that. So again, this is why we have to be very cautious with what people say online. I was just scrolling through some comments recently, and I had a woman telling me that Kohberger lived in Idaho. I'm like, no, where are you getting this information, right? He lived in Pullman, Washington. Again, people hear one little phrase and they run with it as truth. That's why we are where we're at, right? As a country in general. So let's go check the chat before I get into the documents. Hello, D. O'Hara. Hi, Dawn. Hi, Chantal. Hi, Justice for Kilo. Hi, Mark. Hi, David. Hi, Doc. Everyone's here. Linda's here. Hi, Linda. Leanne, David, Debbie, Coco. I'm sorry if I miss anyone. There's a lot of comments here. Good morning, everyone. Yes, this case needs to be tossed, says Paco. Layla, I've mentioned this so many times, I agree with you, right? Ann Taylor wouldn't say that her client is innocent otherwise. And look, I understand, right, that if you're a defense attorney, you are required to do your job and to protect your client as much as possible. But it's another thing for his attorneys to go out there and be like, yeah, this man is innocent, right? Because most defense attorneys aren't going to say that. They're not required to say that. I've heard people say, well, that's what they're required to do. No, no. Where did you hear that? And look, this case has opened my eyes up to how so many people don't know the law whatsoever. I know the law a little bit. I'm no lawyer, but it's scary to see how many people don't understand how our system works, because you need to understand it, babe. If you end up getting arrested, or if a family member ends up getting arrested or potentially even falsely accused, then you need to know your stuff, right? Now, the IgG profile that was made by the FBI, they're trying to suppress that. And Taylor's trying to suppress that, right? And I'm pulling up this motion to seal the state's objection and exhibits for Amazon here. This dropped on the 7th of December. It's dated as the 6th, but I think it dropped later. Usually these documents drop like a day or two after the date mentioned. And it says, come now, the state of Idaho, by and through Leda County Prosecuting Attorney, and hereby moves the court pursuant to Idaho Court Admin Rule and Idaho Code 74124 for an order sealing the state's objection and exhibits to defendant's motion to suppress and memorandum in support, Amazon count, federal grand jury subpoena and warrants, April 26, 2023, right? So we know that Anne was trying to basically, in easy English, right? She was trying to block the court from using this. She was trying to block the state from using the Amazon documents in the trial. And people lost their minds. In fact, these defense attorneys that I'm talking about that have YouTube channels, they're out here saying, well, you know what, as a defense attorney, you know, she why would she do this? You know, why would she do this, right? She obviously needs to be honest with her client. I'm like, what? You're a defense lawyer? I'm sorry, but isn't it the job of a defense lawyer to try to like block anything that wasn't legally obtained? Right? That's what lawyers are supposed to do. That's what a good attorney would try to do. They're going to try to suppress everything that was obtained illegally. And why does that matter? Because if they are out there, they meaning the government or the FBI or Moscow PD, if they're out there getting things illegally, breaking the law, doing things in an unconstitutional fashion, then that would mean that everything that they retrieved, Amazon documents or Amazon purchases, AT&T, Apple, the warrant, the search for Mr. Kohberger, the trace device, pen trap trace, the genetic information, Google, Lambsden, Brian Kohberger's apartment, all of these documents, that would mean that anything, basically anything that they have for the trial is and was retrieved illegally, meaning then that it cannot be used to give this man the death penalty, right? Look, the FBI and the government and Moscow PD, they are not above the law. They can't, well, I shouldn't say they can't. They're not supposed to be above the law, right? Because we know sometimes the can't doesn't actually work in the real world. They're not supposed to be above the law. They're not supposed to be able to do things unconstitutionally, illegally, just to get this guy in jail, whether he did it or not. Whether he did it or not. So what bugs me about this attorney that I just listened to is that he himself, as a defense attorney, is out there speculating, well, Ann Taylor probably banned, she's trying to get the Amazon exhibit out of the trial because that probably means that he probably bought a K-bar. And then he goes and shows the K-bar like, I'm sorry, sir, you're a defense attorney. Why are you out here speculating, right? I wouldn't want him as my defense attorney, but that's just me. And people, when they listen to defense lawyers who sometimes haven't actually worked, as a lawyer in like 30 years or something, they're like, well, he must know what he's talking about, He's a lawyer. He's got a big channel on crime conversations and whatnot. He knows what he's talking about. Meaning that if Ann Taylor is doing this, then this lawyer's right. It must be something damning in that Amazon list. And again, this lawyer coming out and showing a K-bar like, it was probably the K-bar. Could it have been the K-bar that was? Is that why she's trying to get the Amazon docs off the table? Sir, I thought you were a lawyer. And people saying, oh, well, that means he's guilty. That means he must have confessed. He must have confessed. Because why would she try to suppress that? Again, when you go back to the idaho.gov website and you see all of the 20 plus documents of everything that she's actually trying to suppress, 75 of you in here, why is there only 35 likes? Like, you're in here consuming this free information, right? You're welcome. Give it a like. Otherwise, why would they suppress it? Yeah, because again, a good attorney, Ann Taylor, is going to suppress as much as she can, because the more that you suppress, especially if it was retrieved in an illegal fashion, the less pieces that you are giving to the state, to the government, so that they can use those pieces then later on to create this false narrative about Brian Kohberger doing it and being guilty and whatever. Again, we don't know if he did it or not, but why would you want to give the state more pieces of information to use against your client? That's what triggered me this morning. Like, hearing a defense attorney on YouTube talking about this shit. Like, I thought you knew that. I thought that you knew that if you're a defense attorney that you're supposed to suppress as much as you can, right? Especially if you know that your client is innocent and that the government is doing things in an illegal manner. Why would you give them more pieces to use against your client? Right? That means Ann Taylor knows what she's doing. Thank God some lawyers out there know what they're supposed to be doing. Others, not so much. I'm going to check the chat, but I am drinking a peach leaf green tea. And what else did I add in here? That was it. That's what it looks like. So yes, it is caffeinated. It's delicious. What are you guys drinking? And what bothers me as well is that people are saying, but again, like, why would she try to suppress that? Unless, unless he actually did it. Unless he actually bought a K-bar on Amazon. That means he's guilty. That probably means that he confessed. But they don't stop to think about the 3 unknown male DNA. Okay, the same hypocrites. Same hypocrites. It's always the same hypocrites. Let's not talk about that, Nika. We don't want to talk about the 3 unknown male DNA. That's too triggering. Let's just talk about, Ann Taylor and this Amazon list. Amazon wants everything dropped. Let's check out the chat. David says, perhaps he asked if they arrested anyone else in the context of him being rounded up as one suspect. David, yes, totally, right? Because I don't know about you, but if you're like a PhD student on like criminology and this is what you like to do, maybe that gives you a better chance to like, well, you know, are they just focusing on me, or, you know, am I their only suspect? Because that's not looking good statistically, right? If I am, whether he did it or not. But that's not the problem, right? The problem is that they, the media, the public, are assuming that he actually said this when we don't really know. They're using that phrase to come to the conclusion that Brian Kohberger did it. They're saying, well, he asked this. If he asked this, then he must have done it. We don't even know if he asked this. That's the problem, right? But I do agree with you, right? If he actually did say this, if there's proof that he said this, it doesn't mean that he committed the crime. Maybe he wanted to know who they were looking at. Were there other people? Kimberly says, hi, Nika. I heard that the police lost video surveillance tapes from key areas of the town's businesses that were provided to them. Yeah, they sure did. They sure did. I watched that hearing where they're questioning Maury and Payne. And look, I want to give credit to Ann Taylor, because I want to say, look, she just like ripped him a new one on the stand, but really they did it to themselves, right? They had no idea. They looked so stupid, so uneducated, so unprofessional. Ann Taylor was asking them, where's the video surveillance footage? Where did it go? Shouldn't you have it? I don't know. I don't know. My name is, I don't know my name. Where's the footage? It's Ann Taylor. Where's the footage? Shouldn't I be able to find the footage? Payne, I'm the lead investigator. What a baboon. This is the guy in charge. Guy that doesn't know anything. And by the way, wasn't he in the military? Wasn't he in the military? What did he do in the military? I don't remember what he did. Sir Brett Payne, right? I think he was in the army. The man that has like 2 years of police experience. Yeah, let's make him the lead investigator. I'm sorry, but I was also in the military. It doesn't mean that after 2 years of being a cop, I'm ready to be a lead investigator. So I fault Payne for stepping up, right? If he stepped up, or if somebody pushed him up there to the top to be like, hey, let's make this guy that has 0 police experience, 2 years actually, right? Let's make him lead investigator. I blame the person that put him as an investigator, because, I mean, it's almost like as if they wanted to F this up from the get-go, right? Because just because he was in the military prior to that doesn't make him more competent as a lead investigator, right? And then people are puzzled why we have an idiot, aka Brett Payne, on the stand. And maybe he's not an idiot, right? Maybe I don't know what you're talking about. It's what Brett Payne was basically saying the whole time. Like, it's a shame. Well, how come he's so confused, you know? Well, he doesn't have any experience. He's got 2 years experience. Like, I don't know, man. Let's see. Payne committed perjury. Yes, and schooled him. Paco, yeah, totally did that. And what hold on, my thing is freezing here. My chat is freezing. It seems the prosecution has no valid evidence on BK, yet they have imprisoned an innocent man without any evidence for over 2 years. They have no evidence. It makes no sense. He's sitting in jail. Exactly. Why is he still sitting in jail? And again, the defense attorney that I was talking about earlier, who believes, I think he believes that Kohberger is guilty. But how are they not going to question these loser cops, right? Like Brett Payne and Maury, those two losers. And I say losers not because they're cops. I say they're losers because they looked like two idiots on that stand. And they're losing footage. You're losing evidence. And then you're lying on the stand, right? And we're not supposed to question Moscow PD. We're supposed to sit back and pretend, yeah, it was totally Brian Kohberger, although we don't really have any evidence. And the evidence we did have magically disappeared. Right? Hi, Wendy. Good morning. I see you in the chat. So, yes, what does that look like? That, to me, looks like somebody intentionally destroying evidence. And we wouldn't and we shouldn't be so shocked had this not happened before, right? Because they tried to do that. Moscow PD tried to do this before. Stickergate incident. If you don't know what the Stickergate incident is, please go watch my older videos on this channel. I have talked about that heavily. Horrible cops in Moscow PD. Horrible cops. Wendy says, I can't believe some of the people they interview have a law degree. Yeah. It's concerning to me because a law degree is not something, I don't think, that you can just like get online, right? It's supposed to be what, like an 8-year degree. It takes a long time, a lot of schooling, but this goes to show you guys that not just because people have master's degrees or law degrees that they're intelligent human beings, right? Doesn't mean anything whatsoever. David is drinking honey hot water. Enjoy, David. Linda, ginger tea. Oh, it's one of my favorites. Finally confess. Why? He's not guilty. Ray, maybe you're new to the chat or to the channel. I'm not sure. Ray Annette, we're talking about you. Maybe you need to go watch this from the beginning. I was talking about him confessing because a lot of lawyers on YouTube are saying or using these very clickbaity titles saying, oh my God, did he confess? You know, because in the early days, he said, was anybody else arrested? Right? Yes, people are still talking about this over 2 years later. Unfortunately, people are still believing that that is a phrase that actually came out of Kohberger's mouth. Sorry, guys, I'm still recovering from COVID. Yeah, people still believe that. So, yeah, I'm going to talk about it because how are you going to conclude that Kohberger committed this horrible crime just because he said that? You don't even know if he said it. I don't even know if he said it. Talk about people jumping to conclusions, right? Good morning, Owen. Jody says, good morning, working and listening to you. Good morning, Jody. Enjoy your day at work. Layla says, Nika, I have a question. When they arrested BK at his parents' house, they conducted a DNA test. Now, when he arrived in Idaho, they did it again. Why did they perform that second DNA test? I would assume it'd be to verify, right? Hopefully. But I'm not sure. I would assume it would be to verify that it is the DNA. But also the DNA that they had grabbed from the parents' house was not, from what I remember, was not Kohberger's DNA. It was his father's DNA. So they tried to match his father's DNA from PA to his DNA to Brian's DNA, right? Payne was in the Army. Yes, Payne was in the Army. Owen Gordon says always at work. Congratulations. Wendy says, I agree with you. They brought in a monkey because they wanted a circus. Yep. Hello. Thank you so much. I see my phone lighting up like a Christmas tree. Thank you, guys. $5. Damn it. I missed it. Who donated? It's not popping up. It said... Thank you. Oh, I see it. Thank you so much. $4.99. Merry Christmas. And the Christmas tree emoji. Thank you so much. By the way, do you guys like my Christmas tree? In all its glory. Ooh. I think I showed you guys the year before too. She's a beaut. I like decorating for holidays. I like decorating. It makes a home feel cozy, you know? So, Annette, no worries. Payne sounds like he was hanging around with the FBI. Yep. Yes, Kim. That first DNA was his father's. So I'm pulling up the rest of the documents here. That was the Amazon document, right? And again, we have the state. The state is basically objecting to suppress all of these warrants, right? The warrant for the apartment, the warrant for Apple, the arrest warrant, the cell phone warrant, Elantra, first warrant, the search for Mr. Kohberger, Trace, another warrant for Mr. Kohberger, Apple. I think I already said Apple. And they're objecting because they're basically saying that they did everything the right way. Santa says in this document, to avoid unnecessary repetition, the state incorporates herein the state's objection to the defendant's motion to suppress and memorandum in support of Pennsylvania search warrant for 119 Lambson Drive, Albrightsville, PA, and statements made, which itself further incorporates the state's responses to the defendant's Frank's motion and motion to suppress the genetic information. Regarding the defendant's represented facts and as opposed to relying on the subjective summary and interpretation, the state respectfully refers to the court to defendant's Exhibit A in support of his motion to suppress the search warrant. The state notes that the defendant's reference Exhibit A, for some reason, does not include copies of the actual state of Washington search warrant and amendment to the search warrant for the defendant's apartment. Those documents here are attached. So they're saying that all of the search warrants were valid, including the Pen Trap and Trace and AT&T account and the IGG. Based on the above, the state respectfully requests that the court deny the defendant's motion to suppress the search warrant for the defendant's residence in the state of Washington. So they're saying, yeah, no, we don't really care that you think that we did things illegally. We're not gonna suppress anything. And they go and do all of that. They're objecting to everything. Like, nope, we're keeping everything. Now, this one is the most recent, newly dropped document, and this dropped on the 9th. And this is a court hearing. Notice of closed remote hearing, date December 11th, 2024. Notice is hereby given that Brian C. Kohberger, buying through his attorneys of record, will call on for closed remote hearing for the defendant's ex parte motions in the above entitled matter on 12/11/24 at 2:30 p.m. or as soon thereafter as counsel may be heard in front of the Honorable Judge Stephen Hippler. And we haven't really had any other documents besides that, right? Oh my gosh, thank you, Lori. You donated $20 for the Veterans Fund. You're the best. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. So I had reached exactly $500 for the veteran that we were raising money for, but I'm waiting because the last donation that was made was like the largest donation, and it was made on here. So when you guys make donations on here, I just feel like I have to tell you this because a lot of people don't know. Amazon takes like 30 to 50% of your donation, right? So it's great. Thank you. I still appreciate your donation, but I'm just letting you know they do take 30 to 50%. So they take 30% and then they take another 20% if you donated from an Apple device, right? Because it's an Apple tax. So from the $20, we may only have $10. So we are at $510. So thank you. It doesn't matter. It's still amazing, right, that you guys are donating. So I just wanted to talk about that today because look, when you have lawyers on YouTube channels saying that they're defense attorneys, that they know what they're doing, but then they go and say things like, but why would Ann Taylor suppress the documents? You know, why would she do that unless he's guilty? I thought you were a defense lawyer. I thought that you knew that defense lawyers are supposed to try to suppress as much as they can, especially when all this shit was gathered illegally, right? So yeah, that's why I'm talking about it so early in the morning after I had my coffee. Because this is a problem. This is a problem that a lot of people don't want to talk about, right? And these lawyers on YouTube are very problematic, in my opinion, because as soon as they spew a little bit of bullshit out there, people, they eat it up. They eat it up because they see somebody, they're like, but he's a lawyer, Nika. He obviously knows more than you. He might know more than me. I'm not a lawyer. But you know what? He's out here still talking shit, right? Don't be fooled by people with authority. And I do it too, right? I do it too. I always tell you guys, look, I have degrees in psychology 4.0. I think I know what I'm talking about, right? But when somebody's life is on the line and you're painting Brian Kohberger and you're a YouTube lawyer and you're painting him as guilty because of his attorney doing her job, you're part of the problem, sir. Anyway, there's 112 of you in here and only 63 likes, right? I never ask you guys for money for me. I never tell you, just give me some money, right? I mean, unless you guys want to donate for coffee. I never ask you guys for money for me. I ask money for other people, for veterans who need to breathe, for veterans who have had cancer that have gotten turned away by the VA. I literally ask you for one thing, give it a like. You're in here consuming this information. We take time out of our day to do this, right? And we know that the algorithm doesn't favor truth tellers. Let's just say it as it is. So give it a like. Either way, I'm out of here. I'm going to go make second breakfast. I'm feeling good. Thank you, Mara Rocker. I'm feeling good. I did have COVID. I popped positive on Thursday, I think, or Friday. Thursday, Friday. And I had a mild fever, and now I'm great. I'm not dead yet. So for all of you guys who are messaging me, there's some trolls that are like, we think you're dead. I'm like, no, bitch. I'm still alive. Still kicking. right? So thank you all for joining me in the chat. I'm feeling much better. Look, a lot of you guys don't want to watch the Luigi Mangione videos. You don't want to. But I'm still going to be talking about it because I found some crazy tweets that he shared. Well, it's X now, right? Are they still called tweets? Anyway, some very interesting posts made by Luigi Mangione before his arrest. And I want to see what you guys think, because I have my own opinion on all of this going on with United CEO, with the CEOs all over the world, like what they're doing right now. They're fucking losing their mind. They're losing their mind. And they're spending so much money now on private security. Like, that's not the point. Like, that's not the point. You know, if Luigi actually did this. Anyway, I'm getting sidetracked, so I'm just gonna get off and probably talk about that in a separate video. So thank you guys all who donated today. I really appreciate it. And thank you guys all who always join me in the chat. It's always fun to chat with you guys. So see you soon. Bye-bye.